In this video, we're going to cover numbers 13 through 24, the rest of the multiple choice. Which of the quadratic functions below has the smallest minimum value? So, two of these, you can just take a look at the graphs. The lowest point here is that. So if I count this down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the minimum value here is negative 10. The minimum value here is negative 6. For choice 1 and choice 3, I'm going to need to plug these in the calculator to look at the table to get the minimum value. So let's do that. X squared plus 2x minus 6. I've done something wrong. X squared. All right, so if I go to the table, the smallest value, negative 7, negative 7 is the lowest value on the table here. So choice 1 is negative 7. And choice 3, let's plug this in, control delete, parentheses, x plus 5 times parentheses x plus 2. All right, so if we take a look at this, negative 2, if I see the graph, it goes down a little below negative 2. I can't find out exactly, but about negative 2. Smallest means literally like the closest to negative infinity. So that's going to be choice 2. Number 14, which is not a linear function. Remember, linear function is adding or subtracting a constant or the same number. So membership fee of $10 down and $10 per month. Every single month it's $10. So that's adding $10 every time. That is linear. $2.50 initially and $3 per mile. It's always $3 per mile. Plus 3, plus 3, plus 3. These initial things, that's the y-intercept. $12.50 per hour. Every hour is $12.50. Another $12.50 for every hour. Anything with percentage increase or decrease or a fractional increase, like doubling, half, tripling, that's going to be exponential. So that's going to be choice 4. Number 15. 15 kilometers race and has done the following training runs. Which run is at least 15 kilometers? So we're going to need to use our formula sheets on this for conversion. So let me get that. Miles to kilometers. So 1 mile is 1.609 kilometers. So I'm going to multiply 10 miles times 1.609. And that's going to give me 16.09 kilometers. So that's okay. So statement 4 and 2 are out. So at this point, I only need to look at statement number 3. Yards. All right, so I'm looking for yards on here. 1 mile is 1,760 yards. That's the only thing that I see on here that has yards. So if I divide this by 1,760 yards, this is going to leave me with miles. So if we go to a calculator, 15,560 divided by 1,760, and change this to a decimal, 8.8. So this is 8.84 miles. Times that 1.609 to convert it to kilometers, 14.2 kilometers. So that's not quite enough distance to hit at least 15. So 1 only. Tough question, but like I've been saying in class, there's probably going to be a multiple choice that deals with some kind of conversions. And you're going to need to use the top half of the reference sheet. All right, 16, we're describing the range. Range is the y values. So this is a calculator question. If you go ahead and graph this, we have x squared plus 2. As soon as you graph it, this is pretty nice because you can see the graph. Let me try turning off the light if that's any better. Absolutely not. So you can see here 2, it never goes below 2. If I add a table, I can see the lowest point is 2. It does indeed equal 2. And then it just keeps going up no matter what direction I go in. So what I'm looking at for this one, these are out. The lowest value is 2 and it keeps going above that. So that's going to be from 2 to infinity. All right. The amount Mike gets paid weekly can be represented by the expression A is the number of cell phone accessories he sells. What is the constant term? Constant means it never changes. So 290 is always 290. So choice 1 and 2 are out. And what does it represent? This is the weekly pay. So if he sells 0 accessories, he's still getting $290. So that's the guaranteed amount that he's going to get. A cubic function is graphed on the set of axes below. Which function could represent this graph? Okay, calculator. Just plug in each answer choice, see if it matches the graph or not. So if we do that with the first one, let me zoom in again. X minus 3 times x minus 1 times x plus 1. All right, this graph has a similar appearance. There's 1 0 in the negatives and 2 in the positives. So that's not true. This has 2 negative zeros and 1 in the positives. Or I could look at the table at -3, -1, and +1. -3, -1, and +1. The table should show zeros. It doesn't. Choice 1 is out. If I do the same thing, menu, go back, and we're just changing some signs here. So this is now x plus 3, x plus 1, and x minus 1. This sure looks like it. Let's add the table to double check. Okay, at -3, there's a 0. At -1, there's a 0. And at +1, there's a 0. That's it. That's what we needed. So that's choice 2. All calculator. All right. Number 19, here's another one of these statement ones. Identify which are in standard form. Standard form means the highest exponent to the lowest exponent. Highest exponent to lowest. So 4, 1, no, 2, that's out of order. 3, 1, an exponent of 0, that's good. Exponent of 5, 2, and 1, that's good. So 2 and 3 are the correct ones. Now, you'll be careful here because there's 2 answers that could be possible, but it's because the exponents are decreasing. So what Fred said. Which graph does not represent a function? Not represent a function that is always increasing. Well, okay, so this isn't talking about a function that's always increasing. All right, so here's this little dude. He's walking. He's always going uphill. From -2 to +2. -2 to +2, always increasing. -2 to +2, he's going uphill, then downhill. -2 to +2, always walking uphill. -2 to +2, always going uphill. So the only one that's not always going uphill or increasing is choice 3. It's going up and then down. Question 21. We have an ice cream shop. We have the profit is modeled by this function, and C is the number of ice cream cones sold. So C is your domain, which is your X. P is your range, which is Y, the profit. So C is the number of ice cream cones sold. That's our domain. Integers are whole numbers, positive and negative. All whole numbers less than or equal to 0, we can't sell negative amounts of ice cream cones. All whole numbers greater than or equal to 0, that makes sense. Rational numbers are all integers plus fractions and decimals. So we're not selling part of ice cream cones, so those are both out. Choice 2. How many real number solutions? Real number means x-intercepts. So we're just going to take this to the calculator. We're going to add a graph. We're going to take a look at this. 4x squared plus 2x plus 5. 4x squared plus 2x plus 5. Plugging that in. You'll notice this does not cross the x-axis. If I go to the table, it's positive. This is never, ever negative. These y values are always positive. It gets down to 5, but that's the lowest it goes. So this has 0 solutions. Okay, 23, they're asked to write the formula for length by using this formula. So you'll notice they solved for L in all of these. So you're trying to figure out how they did this. All right, so if you solve for L, minus 2W, P minus 2W equals 2 times L, divide by 2, divide by 2. So statement 3 is good. So choice 1 is out. All right. So if instead of dividing the whole thing by 2, if you divide each by 2, that's going to be 1/2 P minus 1W equals L. That's going to be choice 1. And for choice 2, if you go ahead and distribute 1/2 times P is 1/2 P. 1/2 times negative 2 is negative 1. And we just got that. So that is also correct. So that's going to be choice 4. The last one. This is a really difficult question in my opinion. The first term of the sequence is 1, and you need to find the 5th term or the 5th number of the sequence. So to represent the second one, A2, so that means n is 2. So this is 2 times, this means previous term. Well, the previous term is 1. 2 times 1 is 2. Now, to find the third term, n is 3. So 3 times the previous term, which is 2, is 6. To find the fourth term, n is 4. So it's going to be 4 times the previous term. 4 times the 6 is 24. And to find the 5th term, n is 5. So the 5th term is 5 times 24, 420. N is just the term number. That's why it's always matching 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you're just taking the value of the previous term. So the first term was 1. The second term was 2. The third term was 6. The fourth term was 24. So this is just 120. It's a difficult question. So that's the last of the MCs. Next video, we'll do short answer.